Everybody, welcome back. I'm Tony Nobley Jr. here with Three Nail Studios, exploring the book of James, the path to spiritual maturity. Thank you guys so much if you've been paying attention. If this is your first time, feel free to check out some of the other episodes. Let's go ahead and dive into what James has to say. We're starting in chapter 4. What causes fights and quarrels among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you? You desire, but do not have, so you kill. You covet, but you cannot get what you want, so you quarrel and fight. You do not have because you do not ask God. When you ask, you do not receive because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. You adulterous people, don't you know that friendship with the world means enmity with God? Therefore, anyone who chooses to be a friend of the world becomes an enemy of God. Or do you think that the scripture says without reason that he jealously longs for the spirit he has caused to dwell in us? But he gives us more grace. That's why the scripture says God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Submit yourselves then to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come near to God, and he will come near to you. Wash your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Grieve, mourn, and wail. Change your laughter to mourning and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up. Now, this word desire, we've heard it before, but this is actually a different word that James uses. It actually is where we get the word hedonistic from. And it means this idea of the things that really give us a temporary feeling of happiness. And it's meant to be a temporary feeling. In fact, that's why we keep having to chase after it over and over again. And we can all think of examples of things that, while in the moment are great, but have long-term consequences. He says, watch out for those. He also says that these wrong motives are important. But keep in mind, as we've been talking about through this whole series, James says the most important thing, the most important part to being a spiritually mature Christian is to put on a mentality, the right mentality, a mentality of selflessness, a mentality of a servant. James is saying, if you have the wrong motives, your actions are not as important as what follows. If you're doing things, but you're doing it for the wrong reason, it's useless. Also, keep in mind that when we draw near to God, this is an idea of being close to him. This is a daily action of literally finding out where God is and going there. Now, that can be in various different parts. However you feel close to God, do that, but be consistent. Draw near to him, get close to him. Because the closer we are to God, the more we get on that path to spiritual maturity. Talks about double-mindedness again, and this is the same word that he uses talking about that two-facedness. Stop being on both sides of the fence. Be consistent with who you are, with what your beliefs are supposed to be. And finally, he talks about this idea of humbling yourself. Humbling yourself is different than lowering. It literally means to put yourself underneath who God is, to submit, to put yourself where God is the one who is making decisions for you. When you put all your decisions to him and say, I know who I am and I know who you are and I trust you, a spiritually mature person is able to understand that God is the person that we need to make those decisions for us. Yeah, at first it's hard to give up that sense of control, that need to decide this is our life. But what a spiritually mature person is able to see that and move forward. See, this part of James is where a lot of people tend to get off the train. It comes across very aggressive. But the truth is, instead of thinking of it as him trying to shame us or get angry at us or tell us where we're wrong, think of it more as a mentality, right? James is trying to tell us, listen, there are some things that are going to prevent you from growing spiritually. And here's what they are. If you're going to move forward, this is what you're going to have to eliminate out of your life. These are the things that you're going to have to look for, these specific things. as a spiritually mature person, sometimes we have to be able to accept the tough love that God has for us. It means that we're going to have to sacrifice some things. It means we're going to have to give up some things. Control, desire, the things that we value, our entire moral code needs to change. Doesn't mean it needs to happen all right away. Remember, this is part of a journey that James is saying, but he's saying if you're feeling stuck in your spiritual life, if you're feeling like you're caught in a rut, maybe check out some of these things. If any of that applies to you, submit it to God, put it underneath him, allow him to be the one to make your decisions so that you can start to live out that faith. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate you, and we hope to see you as we continue on through James. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We have more content that we'd love for you to watch. Also, it really helps us if you can like and leave some comments for us. It just helps us expand knowing what we want to put out next, and also lets us know where you're at and how we can connect with you. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next episode.